Happy Saturday and welcome to Friendly Differences 2.0. I am your outspoken host, Dread Empath, and this is my partner in crime.
Solid Blue
Solid,
Sister, aka
and
Solid.
that's right, she's solid as a rock. And we have two very special guests. My favorite TikTok creator and personal friend, Thomas the Villain Bishop. There will be a lot of fucks thrown today. And I am meeting this woman for the first time, Kimberly Michael, but I heard that fuck is her favorite word too. So this is going to be one great fucking show. Now, today we are going to be hitting a
Wait,
hot.
can we back up a minute?
Okay, I'll
So
curse the F words.
I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say that dang, Dread, it's like I'm your co-host and Thomas is your favorite TikTok creator. Like, damn. But anyway, go ahead.
You're my co host. We have our own personal thing going on here, okay? But we hitting this hot button topic of interracial relationships. And in 2023, no one understands why we're still having this conversation of who someone takes to bed and what they do there and what color they are. But here we are. Now, my man Thomas, carry yourself down to TikTok and give the man a follow. If you're sensitive, that page is not for you. Do not come to his page in peace or leave in pieces. It's all up to you. Thomas, floor is yours, my good man.
Uh, you have no sound.
We have no sound from you, T-Man. People, we are sorry. We having some technical
We are
difficulties.
having some technical difficulties with Kimberly and with Thomas, but we will get it together. We will get it together.
All right.
All
So
right.
until
So
we can get a guess that,
well, I mean, Dre, I am looking forward to this show. I am. So here's Kimberly. Kimberly's back, and let's see if she has her video. Kimberly, I am showing your internet is going in and out, and that's probably why you're having problems with your video. And we lost Kimberly again. But okay, and here's Thomas again.
Can y'all hear me?
We can
yes,
hear you.
I have made it back. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thor hammer goes to you.
Listen, I keep some urine there on me. I don't know if y'all know. I keep some urine there on me. Um, Before we begin, I want to say something. I want to tell a story about something my wife has, in the 20 years I've been with her. The 20 years I've been with her. This was the first time I ever heard this. So I told her I was going to be on what we were talking about. And I've always lived under the two rules. No, date who you want to shut the fuck up. That has been my rule since day one, right? So I'm talking to her and I'm like, yeah, because I just don't understand why black men would bash black women. My wife, who is a Caucasian from the Caucasus Mountains, said we would not be together if you did. She's like, you don't have to bash a woman, anyone, especially a black woman, because your mother's black, your sister's black, your aunt is black, your cousin's black. You work with black women. You have been around black women your whole life. You don't have to bash any of them to show your love for me. Just show your love for me, and that's enough. So I have always lived by that, honestly. But that's just my personal story. Continue.
Kimberly, your thoughts, please.
So I apologize. I had to come all the way off and come back in. So was there an actual question, or are we just talking about my apologies, because I just got back on. I just popped back on.
Listen. We want to thank you guys for showing up. Things happen, and you know what? It's all good. We're just happy that you're back and you're here. You
Me
know,
too.
I want to know, what is your take being a white woman, you know, interracial marriages, interracial dating. What do you face? What do you get tired of hearing? Do you get dirty looks? Talk to me.
Well, yes to literally all of that. And then, my background is, I the way I feel about it is, of course, based on my journey, my background. I grew up in a town that I got ran out of when I started dating brothers. It was not okay to do. It was not a cool thing. And I wasn't dating brothers because of of of, of necessarily trauma that I'd been through or anything like one of those. It just happened that way. But I was run out of town like by my family and my friends. Like literally, it's a real story. Like I was harassed. My mother chased me with a shotgun. You know, so I think that no matter what the situation is, when it comes to dating interracially, you have to look past the person that you're getting involved with. Now, you could say this as a human being, you just can't integrate, I don't particularly care for that word, a family because you love someone. It's not the reality of the world that I grew up in or that I raised my family in. Just because I loved a person, just because I loved him, just because I love a culture of people, that doesn't mean that my family and my friends will, nor does it mean that they will tolerate and or accept me or my family in any environment that they're not in control of. In other words, it's not their place to say or do or be. And even then, so the fact that we're having, like you said, the fact that we're having this conversation, I think needs to be had now, because this is no longer a 1960 interracial dating problem. This is a 2023 interracial dating problem, and it is way deeper than my daddy don't like black men. Way deeper than that. So.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to make a comment that the Loving case, which was 1967, we are 50 years past that, well, 60 years past that. But I have a question for Thomas, and I hope you don't take offense. But
No,
I'm just okay.
absolutely.
I'm just going by, what the interchanges, the exchanges rather, that was going on with TikTok. Um, can I ask that for you to champion black women so much? Can I ask you why you didn't marry a black woman?
See, that's the thing. I did.
Okay.
This is my second marriage. My first marriage was to a plus size black woman who has since
He
passed
loves them
away.
chicks. He does.
Like she passed away last year. We had been divorced for about I want to say about I say about 21, 22 years. But yeah, I was married to her. I was in a relationship with her for 5 years. And we got married, and I think our marriage lasted about a year and a half, and only because we didn't grow up. Like when I got married, I had no earthly concept of what a husband was supposed to do, because the most stable marriage, and I say this all the time, and I've told her this, the most stable marriage I've ever seen in my life is my older sister and her husband, James. They've been together for 30 years. Every other marriage I had ever seen ended in cheating. It ended in financial problems. It ended in divorce. It ended in a whole bunch of different ways that my sister Linda and my brother-in-law James are like the most stable relationship I've ever seen. So when I got married, I had no earthly idea what the hell a husband was supposed to do. I'll never forget. My ex-wife had an ex-boyfriend. His name was Calvin. Calvin was 6'2", swole up, muscular, and just this big ass dude. He intimidated the shit out of me. He literally intimidated the ever-loving shit out of me because I could not measure up. I'm 6'1", and when I got out of the Navy, I was like maybe 225. But Calvin was this swole ass dude. I'm sitting there going, why did she pick me over him. And one night, because Calvin ended up living with us, one night her and Calvin wanted to go out. I didn't want to go out. I wanted to stay home. And I fucking smashed up the whole fucking front room, right? Out of jealousy. So we were not prepared. We we were really not prepared to be a husband and wife. She had never been married. I'd never been married. And it ended amicably. I never hated her, never said anything bad about her. I mean, hell, she helped to raise my oldest son, who was not her child. So I have always been a person that has hated size over race. I've never, to me, it's got to be a plus size woman. The end of the discussion. Are you plus size? I'm going to holler at you. Like, I even said it. I don't even notice a woman's in the room until she's 175 pounds. Like, don't get me wrong, I have no disrespect for smaller women.
Thank you.
But for me, I swear to you, I don't. I love y'all just as equally. But for me, the turn on is the plus size woman. You get a woman that's 190, 200, 225, 215, whatever. I'm on her ass like she owes me money. And when I decided to make that choice, I also realized that I'm not the sort of guy that's gonna be, I'm gonna discriminate. No, plus size. What part of that did you miss? So me championing black women as much, and I was going to answer, me championing black women is a natural thing. I was raised by one. I lived in a house with them. I have a family full of them. Black women have been a part of my journey my whole life. The reason I ended up making staff sergeant in the Army was because the Sergeant First class that they had on the board that day was a friend of mine from my old unit, a black woman. And she was the one that said, he's ready. And I'll never forget it. As soon as I got out, she went back to the brigade and everything. I intentionally came to her and gave her the biggest hug in tears. I said, you just made sure that my Army career was over. I love you for that. She's still one of my black women are a part of me. I wouldn't be here if I wanted to. I mean, if the black woman had worked here, I would be here. Me dating or marrying a Caucasian woman or a Latino woman or Asian woman is not in any way a reflection on black women, because there's at least one black woman on TikTok right now that I'm doing.
Okay.
Like, every time I see her videos, it's just, I don't want to say her name. I don't want to put her out there. Believe me when I tell you, that woman's fine as hell. But that's me. She's plus size.
All right.
That's my thing.
She got to be thinking of cola grits. I get it.
Yes.
So Kimberly, I'm going to direct the same question to you. So when your family ran you out of town or beforehand, and you said that it just happened like that, was it that when, you were dating or you were looking or people were looking for you, that you got more attention from black men than white men? I mean,
So, yeah, no. Mine is a completely different. So when I was probably in junior high, so I was raised around my white family. My entire childhood was spent in private schools. I was around white people all of my life until I went to high school. And I walked in a predominantly black high school that my parents had graduated from, but it had now reversed. It wasn't predominantly white anymore. It was predominantly black. But because they graduated, I got to go there. And I fell in, I literally was like, oh my God, where have black people been my whole life? Like, I fell in love with black people, the culture, the individual person, the collective, the grandmamas, the candy ladies, like the churches. I fell in love with all of that. And I say all that to say, back when I was in junior high, before I hit high school, I remember being confused by my family. I didn't understand something, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand. And I began to tell my family and my friends that I was not going to have white children, that I did not know what race or ethnicity they would be, but I did not want to procreate white children. It didn't make no sense to me. It makes sense to me now, but it didn't make no sense to me then. So when this happened, it was just a gradual thing. Now,
So did you not want to procreate white children because you thought white people were racist?
I mean, I think that I say this all the time. You probably heard me say it on my podcast. I was smarter than my parents by the time I was 6, and I had evolved past them by the time that I was 11. But I was an only child, and I grew up in like just chaos and dysfunction, and there was no one for me to speak to about these things. So now can I look and say part of it was because they were racist? But it's so much more than that. The white mindset, the generational mindsets that we talk of are not only within Black families, they're in white families too. And that generational mindset, there's a huge difference between nice white folks and white folks that are gonna go to battle with you. It's two different type of people. I could say a million reasons why now I didn't want to procreate a white mindset, that I wanted to somehow spiritually, again, not knowing any of this, be able to move past something I didn't even know what I was moving past. And where I am now makes all the sense in the world. My kids make sense to me, the way they speak, the way they feel, our life makes sense. But back then, I didn't have a reason why. I just knew something didn't vibe with me. I didn't move like that, and I didn't want to create a family that moved that way either.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Next question. And I am always going to push the envelope. So, Kimberly, what do you think about when people say that white women fetishize Black men? The old myth that, you know, you're hung like a jury, you know, the big black buck. You know, what do you say to that? And then I have a question for Thomas.
Absolutely. Absolutely, white women do that. Do all white women do that? No, of course not. But the majority of white women I know and have heard, I shouldn't say I know, because I have a really small circle, but people that have been on my podcast, people that, you know, white women say a lot of shit in front of other white women they wouldn't normally say in front of a group of people that was diverse. And white men are the same way. So if I don't open my mouth and I'm in a room and you don't know who I am or where I come from, white people will say some things to you. Yes, absolutely they do, because they talk about it. They openly talk about it. I mean, I'm quick to block somebody on TikTok. I don't even want them on my rhythm that are on there. I feel like they're dehumanizing Black men by speaking on their private parts and, oh, their lips this. But yes, of course, a lot of them absolutely are. This is why they overcompensate in the relationships, because they know at any minute, deep down in their heart of hearts, they're not in it like a Black woman would be in it for a Black man. Look, this is my views. It's not, it ain't got to be everybody, but it's past the fetish of it as well too, because then they have to upkeep that kind of energy. And they overcompensate for what they're doing, because they're not in it for the right reasons in the first place.
Okay. Thomas, to the people who say that men like yourself who are married to white women, you go to white women because you can't handle an outspoken, strong, independent Black woman like myself. Now, I know what the villain usually says. But what do you think of men, Black men, who say that about Black women as to why they date white women? Because Solid and I had a guy that decided to say, we cuss too much and we're the reason he dates white women. I said, well, go get it. I don't give a fuck. I don't even like y'all. You know. So what do you say to those men who pretty much say, we don't like Black women, they're angry, they're loud, they're too independent, so on and so forth?
Okay. My answer is going to be a little bit long-winded, because I'm also going to tackle the question you just asked Kimberly at the exact same time. First off, fuck them. Right in the eyebrows, stiff janks for everybody. Fuck them. That's my visceral, emotional thought process. Fuck them. But
That's this guy.
here's my rational mindset. I was raised with strong, opinionated black women. I was raised. This isn't some adjacent shit. Like, oh well, my dad would come visit on the weekend, but I had to live no. I lived 24/7, 365, year after year after year with strong, opinionated black women. My sisters would punch a man in their motherfucking face, and I know this to be true because I watched them do it one time. My brother got hit by a guy. My two little sisters, went to scrap. So for me, a strong, opinionated black woman is just who the fuck she's supposed to be. I never got into this idea that I want a submissive black woman submit to. What the fuck is that shit? Are you out of your mind? I want a fighter. I want a woman that is going to fight her motherfucking ass off. And I do not care those motherfuckers that think that black women are loud and cussing. Yes, they are. They're fucking human. That's what they're supposed to do. If you stub your toe, you don't go, oh, fiddlestick, don't stub my toe. That's not going to happen. Try this again. No. You're going to say, if you're a holy person, you're going to say, Jesus Christ. If you're an unholy person, you're going to say, motherfucker. I expect that. You know what I'm saying? I expect that. I expect it. So the idea of I couldn't handle a black woman is a damn lie. I know these black women. I have been raised with these black women. My mother, who I love to this day and I miss dearly, is one of the strongest, most opinionated, best cussing black women, a woman, fuck black woman I have ever known in my life. My mother once called a guy a bag of motherfuckers, and I never forgot it. So I am used to the idea of a strong,
I gotta write that down.
Yeah, I'm used to the idea of a strong, opinionated black woman because that's all I've ever known. Now, when it came to my dating preferences, I didn't look for the docility. I didn't look for the, well, whatever you say, babe. No, I want a woman who I can love, who stimulates me mentally, stimulates me physically, stimulates me emotionally, and at the exact same time, I know for a fact you fight shoulder to shoulder. When it was my ex-wife, shoulder to shoulder. You don't fuck with her without me saying something. You don't fuck with me without her saying something. My wife now, same way. My ex-girlfriend, same way, because I'm attracted. I'm not attracted to submissiveness. I'm attracted to the intelligence. I'm attracted to the strength. The strength of a woman is all that matters. Now, I'm a caveat or piggyback off what Kimberly said. The most annoying, disgusting fucking thing, I think any white woman that dates black men call herself a spade. Now,
I'm sorry, to call herself what? You kind of faded out there.
A queen of spades.
Oh.
Now,
okay.
You will know them by their fruits. They'll have a spade tattoo with a Q in the middle. I fucking hate those women because spade was a derogatory name for black folk.
Yes, it
So
was.
if you were the queen of spades, basically you're the queen of impulse. And I'll be damned if you are not going to fulfill your fetish with me. You out your rabbit ass mind. If you don't stimulate my mind as well as my body, you will never see what's in my pants. Never. And that's my problem. There are a lot of white women that, oh my God, I've never been with a black guy. Is it so big? I get instantly turned off and I will curb the dog shit out of there. You will never see a face palm faster than when I get one of those white women. Oh my God, like, is it true that you black guys have big things? Bye. Get the fuck on. I got nothing for you. Because I am more than 10 inches of meat and eyes. I have intelligence. I have history. I have a family. I have love. I have things that I like. I have things that I dislike. I have strong political leanings. I have strong cultural leanings. I believe in certain aspects. And if the only thing you can bring to the table is the fact that you want to see me buck ass because you want to have body contrast, I've never had a black body on me in the moonlight, so I'm so excited. Bitch, get the fuck, go. You gotta go. You gotta get, you can't be here no more. I don't need you around me. You bring in bad juju here. Because those are the sort of that, oh yeah, it's great to have sex with you, but when I need to talk, where the fuck are you? I'll talk to you, but we have sex first. Bitch, you come on, get away from me. I need a woman, and this is the thing about my wife. She is my best friend. She doesn't submit to me. I don't submit to her. We're partners. And it's because she continues to stimulate my mind. My wife will call me 3 or 4 times a day to tell me, see what Trump did? Did you hear what the Republicans did? Look at the Democrats. Because she knows that feeds the political fire that my father started. She'll call me and ask me, hey, did you see this TikTok video that said this, that, and the third? Because she knows it stimulates my mind. As far as my I'm gonna get hard. All she has to do is get naked. You don't lingerie. You don't take them damn clothes off. Shut up. Come on, lay down. Here we go. Lay down over here. We good. I don't need much because I understand those are my basic needs. My dick hard. I gonna get in the. I need more than that. I don't like it when brothers say that, well, they can't get with a black woman because she's strong, opinionated, blah, blah, blah. That's what the fuck she's supposed to be. Why the hell would you want to separate white from a black person? Whatever you say, honey. I'll just be here cooking your pot roast. I'll see you when you get home. Fuck out of here. I want a woman that's going to fight for something. I want a woman that is going to fight for her beliefs, that's going to fight for her family, fight for her ideals, because I know right there I have a partner. I don't have a submissive. I'm not following her. She ain't following me. We walking side by side. And that to me is the most attractive thing. So when I hear guys say, I can't date no black woman because she loud and she ugly, she this, that, fuck you. In your eyebrows. Just fuck you. Right then and there. The conversation goes no further because you're not going to disrespect the lineage of strong, opinionated, profane, and profound black women that I came from, simply because your simple ass ain't got the equipment to even deal with a black woman, and I ain't talking about with real damn things. For me, the opinionated black woman is as needed in this society as a strong black man. And I've always said, you don't have to be in a relationship with a black woman to love, appreciate, uplift, and respect, and defend a black woman. I expect a black woman to be strong, to be opinionated. If you got to get loud, I'm a loud motherfucker. If you got to use profanity, I tend to throw the F-bomb before breakfast. I expect that. And for me, whether I'm in a relationship with one or not, the respect is always there. I will stand behind a sister that's going the fuck off, and I'm like, you want me to punch him? No, brother, you ain't got to punch him. I'm just going to cuss him out. Okay, just make sure I just want to let you know I'm back here with the hammer. If you need me to hit him, I'll hit him. That's what I need. I need that, and that's why I respect them.
So,
go ahead, Solid. You got
okay, so this is for Kimberly, but first I want to say that for Kimberly and Thomas, one reason why I wanted y'all on the show is because I knew you all both were going to keep it real. And Kimberly, we've had conversations and what have you, and both of you all, I knew you all would keep it real. But I want to get off the whole black women, white women thing for a moment, and I just want to ask, because interracial is also white men marrying Asian women. You know, it's some of everything. Right. But in terms of what we see on TV these days, in terms of ads, you look at a cereal commercial, you look at, a cell phone commercial or whatever. Why do you think that there are more interracial families? And Kimberly, I'm going to go to you first.
Well, so I haven't owned a TV in 6 years. With that being said, I do see stuff. Don't get me wrong, and I do pay attention. My own idea of what I have seen in my own eyes has nothing to do with black and white. There's every interracial couple listed that goes down the list. There'll be more interracial couples, but when it comes to a black man and a white woman, that's a rarity on any given. And as far as I'm concerned, these conversations don't even need to be had in any other communities, because people in those communities outside of, and I'm saying this just because of the conversation that we're having, outside of a black and white community, they don't go hard like we do about the racial issue and people interacting and stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but that you don't that narrative is not out here for everyone, like, oh, their family is against them for this, and oh, you know, she's dating this, and oh, she got this and that. Those conversations aren't had in those communities. I don't see them. I've never heard them. It's not prevalent like it is when it comes to a black man dating a white woman or vice versa. It's always a conversation to be had. I have a million friends, between, and I shouldn't say a million, but I have several thousand friends across social media, and there is never, ever, ever have I ever seen any type of racial comment even against an interracial couple that was not black and white, ever.
But
so the commercials I see are more of other races interracially, not black and white interracially.
So, okay, so do you think that, because you do bring up a point, but a lot of the ads that I see tend to have, the ones that I see tend to have a black man with a Latino woman, black man with the white woman, whatever. But do you think that, because everything's always about money, do you think they're doing that because they're trying to be more aware of how society has evolved? Or do you think that they just, it's like, are they making more money by doing the interracial thing with ads, or should they, I'm just asking.
I think so.
They're trying to appease. My
Okay.
apologies.
No, go ahead.
I think they're trying to appease the majority of a certain type of population that pays attention to the capitalism side of it. I think that they are doing the minimalist that they can do to get by without there being someone marching in the streets because they didn't represent a certain ethnicity or a certain culture or a certain environment. But they're catering to the lesser, if you will, just like it's always the lesser amount of people. Again, the interracial couples that date that aren't black and white. That is a minimal. That's a minimal narrative. It's a minimal conversation, but yet it's all over. So, of course it's about money, but I think it's just about, for me personally, this is my own personal opinion, but the media, the propaganda it's all hush shit. It's just for us to be quiet so they can get through with their agenda. It's nothing more, nothing less. Yes, it's about money, but at the end of the day, they're not making more or less money because they're integrating their commercials to make them more, look like what the real world looks like. Because at the end of the day, the real world doesn't look like what's on TV anyway.
Good point.
And I really do think that Kimberly makes a very good point. And as Marlon said, everything is commercial these days. It's all about who we're going to pander to and who we're going to cater to. For instance, during June, what does everybody do? They break out the rainbow flags and the transgender flags. Come on, y'all, spend your money with me. We might not really like y'all asses, but come on over here and spend your money. Now, they're also, because we have to state the obvious. It is taboo, but it isn't. We don't, now when I see, where I live, I see white mixing with chocolate all the time. Vanilla chocolate swirl, lots of mulatto kids up here. It's an everyday thing. But I also see Hispanics with black people. I see Asians with white people, Asians with black people. It is a mixed bag. So I think that even if it's not if, we do live in a white patriarchal society that believes that you should stay with your own, as Marlon asked, should we stay with our own when it comes to dating? Even if that's the broad idea, they're not going to put that on TV. You go back, you go back to commercials 40, 50 years ago. Who was playing with Barbie? What color was Barbie? Campbell commercials. What color were they? Now, during those Campbell commercials, you're gonna have a black mom with a Hispanic man, and they might have adopted 2 white children. So I do believe that it is a money issue. It is money.
I'll even go you one further. I've always looked at corporate America as being a guy who watches another guy dance and then tries to mimic the dance steps, but doesn't. He'll get it eventually, but it won't look the same way it was from the original. Corporate America is always 1 to 1.5 steps behind society. So when a society changes, you're almost going to get about a year, maybe a year and a half later, corporate America starts to change because they read trends as trends, but they don't understand that trends come and go. So back when interracial dating of any kind was taboo, it didn't matter if it was a white guy sleeping with a black guy. It was taboo shit. You didn't see it on corporate. In corporate America, it's like, well, it's not a trend. We'll ignore it. As things went on, because even remember the Coca-Cola commercials with the people with the long hair and the bell bottoms, like teach the world to sing. That was almost a year after the movement started.
Oh wait, I don't remember that. Sorry.
No, that was one of the that was one of the best commercials I think that I've seen on TV. Yeah,
but they knew exactly when to strike because they saw that the trend it was maintaining. It's like, okay, the hippie movement is maintaining. We can make some money off of this. So now what you see is corporate America now realizes that America is a lot more diverse than we've ever given it credit for. The idea of interracial dating might have been taboo in certain instances. Then the lovings happened, and then you saw an explosion of it. So what corporate America said was, when the lovings happened, you wasn't going to see no interracial relationships because people were still raw. That was still a raw nerve. Miscegenation laws had been in place for so long that Jack Johnson ended up going to prison and losing his title because of the Mann Act. So when they saw that, hey, we're seeing a lot more interracial people out on the streets, then you saw the first interracial kiss on television. It's Captain Kirk kissing Lieutenant Uhura. And it took how long to actually get an interracial couple to sell you Cheerios? You see now what I'm talking? Like back then, it's taboo. Now it's normal.
But
yeah, go ahead.
No, Thomas, but it's interesting because with the Star Trek thing, that was in the 60s, but then you fast forward to I'm starting to watch it's my favorite season 1 of A Different World. And Marissa Tomei was on there, which a lot of people forget that she was, and she was actually very good. She was pretty much the only white cast member.
Yep.
And come season 2, she was fired because Debbie Allen took over, and Debbie was pushing the envelope. She and Lisa Bonet were both fired. Lisa Bonet was fired because, as Bill Cosby said, Lisa Bonet is having a baby. Denise Huxtable isn't. She's gone. And Debbie Allen wanted to write it into the show. Bill Cosby didn't. They could have just did what they do with most people, just shoot above the waist. But anyway, but with Marissa Tomei, Debbie Allen wanted to have her with Kadeem Hardison. And she wanted to explore that whole thing because she said this may be an HBCU, but you have students who are dating, going, to this school, to that school. They're dating amongst each other. And the producers and NBC said no. So they fired Marissa Tomei. The whole show got rebooted, new people, whatever. But again, the Lovings and Captain Kirk was in the 60s, but then fast forward to 1987, and Marissa Tomei is getting fired, but she got the last laugh because 4 years later she went and got an Academy Award. So,
Yep.
so
Yes,
I'm just saying. So Thomas, how? I mean, again, you have that 30 to 20-year difference when there really nothing changed, and fast forward to 2023, nothing's changed.
the thing about it is, the thing about corporate America is a lot of Americans take entirely too much. They put entirely too much stock into corporate America. So a stereotype is going to live a lot longer than the truth. A stereotype will always live a lot longer than the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Dick Wolf has an entire damn discography of Law and Order shows,
Mm-hmm.
and he never wrote something, not once, because in the minds of, after all the years of propaganda, a black guy robbing somebody is normal. That's what really happens. But in actuality, you're liable to get carjacked by just a bunch of goofy white boys that just want to go out on a joyride. So corporate America is not our mirror. I mean, not our window. Or at least it's supposed to be. So interracial relationships they've been going on for, decades. I'll say decades. Just longer than that, we know, but decades. So the idea of seeing an interracial relationship might still throw some people off. But again, for some fucking reason, we still cater to the generation that had separate water fountains and separate bathrooms and shit, and now are trying to call other people snowflakes. Y'all, do you understand? You were perfectly okay with a black man going to the back of a restaurant to pick up his food because white people didn't want to see it. You saw that shit, and now we're snowflakes? No, we are what diversity truly looks like. I think the idea of dating, unless it's a fetish, which I think a lot of white men get with Asian women because of a fetish, unless it's a fetish, I think society as a whole is always going to blend because we're human beings. We bump up against each other every day. The thing about Kadeem Hardison and Marissa Tomei, which I did not know, would have been perfectly normal. She's at an HBCU. He's an intelligent black man in an HBCU. Their relationship would have been fine. Most people wouldn't even have batted an eye. Oh, Marissa Tomei's with that guy. Okay. But the same generation that brought us they were the children of the Jim Crow laws and remember some of this stuff, they were uncomfortable. For what? This happened. And in 2023, now those older people are the voting. They're the Trumpers. They're the people, the CEOs of businesses, corporations. They're Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. So it's almost as if in the process of advancing society as we normally are going to do, everything evolves. We still have some people that want to hold on that evolution. And unfortunately, they are also the ones that have the money. They're the ones that are the voting blocks, the biggest voting blocks. They're the ones that watch Fox News or watch Newsmax and get disinformation that only feeds into their idea of what, back when I was growing up, a black guy would have got killed if he was with a white woman. Okay, that was back in your day. Right now, that's a normal fucking thing. It's a Thursday, stupid ass, but we still have to cater it. And corporate America is never going to. The only way corporate America is going to stop catering to the generations that remember this level of discrimination is when they all die. I know that sounds whatever, but truth is truth. Evolution is going to happen. People are going to date who makes them feel loved, who makes them feel comfortable. If it's a white man that's looking for somebody that's going to share his life with, and it just so happens to be a Latino woman, yeah, they're going to have those damn conversations amongst themselves. It's not something that has to play out into the ball. Yes, you're going to have white men get with black men, a gay relationship. It's going to happen. They're going to have those conversations. Corporate America is still looking at it like we gotta pander to the newspaper buying Walter Cronkite. No, you don't. You got to leave them the fuck alone because they don't run business anymore. But they do have influence and power. So as long as these people still have their finger on what is the evolutionary, the natural, natural evolution of things, they're the ones that stop the progress. Corporate America is always going to, they're going to cater to it. They'll give us, oh, a mixed race kid eating Cheerios. But you notice that kid's parents were in 2 different rooms. She wasn't laid up on it. They wasn't watching, Seinfeld or whatever. She wasn't standing, hugged up with her man. No. Kid goes in, the little interracial kid goes in her room, talks to her dad who's laying out on the couch. Then the kid goes to the kitchen to talk to her white mom who's in the kitchen. They need like that, and the powers that be, the people that they're, okay, we got a little interracial kid eating Cheerios, and look at the backlash. Look at the backlash that damn thing got, and where did it come from? The same people that remember separate water fountains and separate bathrooms. Corporate America hasn't figured out these people gonna die one day, and you have catered to them and catered to them and catered to them. You've given them specs. Oh shit, it's an interracial kiss, but he's the captain and she's a lieutenant. They're not equals. Here's a relationship. It's a black man and a white woman in a relationship, but he's a killer. Yeah, he's the cheater. They give them that to feed their bullshit. The rest of us have already caught on to it, and we're laughing at it. We're going, damn well this is a stereotype. But okay, I'll play along.
But unfortunately, it's a stereotype that is negative for society. So
absolutely.
I have another question for Miss Kimberly, but Dredd, you've just been sitting back just listening.
I want to know, because I don't think I've ever asked a white woman this question. And this is a question from me as a black woman. How do you feel? Because I'm here to tell you, I'm pretty sure you know this. You will never know what I go through as a black woman, ever. You have no way of knowing. Our struggles are not the same. But how do you feel when you have to comfort your lover, your partner, your children who are biracial, I'm sorry. How do you feel when knowing that's just a pain that you can't heal? That's a pain that you can't touch. How does that make you feel?
It's devastating to me as a white woman, and I talk about this often, that it doesn't matter how spectacular, how wise, it doesn't matter how healed and whole that I am as a woman, I can never speak to my children as melanated beings. I can never have that conversation to the fullest extent. There are things that I will never truly be able to understand. The only thing that I hold is the pain of them being my children and witnessing the atrocities. And I call them atrocities because I still view them that way in my eyes. There's a lady, I tell this story often, and I'm going to speak on it and say this. There's a lady, her name is Jane Elliott. I'm sure everyone's heard of her. She's been around for 1,000,000 years, trying to convince white people that they're racist, basically, right? And she did a seminar with Angela Davis and at a college, and she does this a lot. She says, at one point in the show, I'm speaking to all the white people in the audience, if you're white and tomorrow, just for one day, would you be black? And nobody stands up. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry, you must have misunderstood what I said. She said, if you're white and tomorrow just for one day, you want to be black, stand up. And she said, and when no one stood up again, she said, there's a reason for that. My daughter was the one who sent me the link to watch that excerpt of them speaking. And my daughter is the one that I had the conversation with about first. And I said, I wish I would have been in that room. Because when I say this, I mean this from the bottom of my heart.
if I could get up tomorrow and be a Black woman or a Black man, I would do it so that my voice is heard a million times louder than what it is right now. Because there is nothing in this world that devastates me and hurts me more from the fact that I can't speak to my children in this manner. And I'm aware of it and I acknowledge it. And it is important and vital to me. And it's something I cannot give them or take from them or heal them from. And I acknowledge it as much as I can in front of them and to the people that are around them. This is why, and this is kind of off subject, it is so crucially important for the spiritual leader of my family moving forward to be a spiritual leader as far as a Black man goes, because I need that. My children need that. That is what they need. I can't speak for every other family, and I can't speak for Black women or Black men. I can't. I can speak for them out of love, out of honor, out of respect. I can speak about the injustice. I can speak about the oppression. I can speak about the genocide. I can speak about the white man's mindset. I can speak about those things. But will I ever truly understand it? No. The only thing that I carry is the pain of my children who have been not only been witness to, but are also afflicted with the atrocities that is the white mindset that is generationally carried down. I can't speak on it in the way that it's devastating to me.
I understand, and I thank you for it, because this is all learning. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't think that part of us having uncomfortable conversations is being uncomfortable.
Right.
As a mother, two mothers on here, the one thing you want to be able to do is comfort your children. You know what I mean? So, and you know what? My mother told me straight up, don't bring no white woman home. She told my brother, don't bring no white woman home. And I said, Mom, what if he loves her? What if I love her? What do you want us to do? No, if she can't, you don't bring her home. You know what I mean? But my stepmother is white. My father married a white woman. I just went to my grandmother's funeral. Well, my dad's mom, white woman, cried like a baby. Because she's my family. She's my family. I cried like a baby. She's my family. And I don't think that people understand. We're not just, this isn't just skin deep. I'm pretty sure, Thomas, your wife feels a way when she sees a Black man lose his life on television.
Actually, I got two stories.
How does your wife feel?
Well, I got two stories. Trayvon Martin is the same age as my youngest stepdaughter. They were like born on the same day. And when Trayvon Martin happened, the kids were out of town. I think I might have been deployed or something. I might have been out of the country, something like that. But when Trayvon Martin happened, my stepkids were devastated, right? And here's my wife, a white woman. She has 4 biracial children. And all she could do was listen as they told her how they felt. Like, they felt like nobody cared. They felt like they were meaningless because of what happened to Trayvon Martin. My kids went to school in Hinesville, Georgia. So they knew Ahmaud Arbery. They knew him like in passing in school and stuff. So when Ahmaud Arbery was killed, it was my 2 youngest stepdaughters that told my wife. She said, "Oh my God, Mama, they killed a friend of mine, or they killed somebody we went to school with." It was Ahmaud Arbery. And again, my wife has never tried to overtalk them when things like this happen, but she'll tell me, how angry those situations make her. But the thing that she does is she listens, because her kids are going to have an experience my wife will never know. And she knows that. So when you see somebody, when you hear about Ahmaud Arbery, Freddie Gray, or Breonna Taylor, My wife understands what her place is. And I don't mean like place as in like she has what she understands that she is a white woman that cannot relate to any pain and suffering that a black mother is going through after the loss of a child like that. Even the street violence, even the just regular old street violence. My wife understands that there is such a thing as I can be there, but I can be there and I can listen, but I cannot empathize. Like I'm just going, let me take it away from you. My wife understands that. So her biggest thing is in a situation like that is to be that listener, to let her kids vent. If that means they get angry and they're using profanity, she sits and she listens. And that's what she told me she did. When the kids talked about Trayvon Martin, my wife just sat and listened. But when she came and talked to me, she talked to me like, how could they do that? You know, and I'm not saying that my wife is one of those people that's naive. She understands it, you know, but at the same time, she also knows that I have a lived experience. Her kids will have a lived experience that she's never had. So my wife's biggest thing is I'm going to sit and I'm going to let you vent. It hurts me as a mother. It breaks my heart to see my children like this, but she understands that there is a greater purpose involved in it. Hell, my wife we lived in Fort Riley, Kansas, and they had a protest, a Black Lives Matter protest in Manhattan, Kansas. And my wife was out there, you know, my daughter's there taking pictures and stuff. And my wife was posting them on Facebook because she knows she has a really conservative family, and things like that bother her. You know, and my wife is like, if it's a situation involving family, she's already said I won't talk politics, race, or anything with my family. And if they try to, she'll leave. One Thanksgiving was the funniest Thanksgiving we ever had. We had finished eating, everybody sitting around, some shit popped off. My wife's like, grab the jacket, we going. Grab the jacket, we going. This is our family. But she also understands that as a mother to biracial children, there is a deal that she's never going to have to experience what her kids are going to experience. One of the angriest I've ever seen my wife in my life is when a teacher like tried to suspend and expel my stepson because he said boo to her. And she's like, he was the cute little kid 2 years ago. Everybody loved him. He looked like he was Mexican or Samoan or whatever. He grows up a little bit, his voice gets a little bit deeper, he gets facial hair. Now all of a sudden he's a threat. She couldn't reconcile how he went from the cute little kid everybody loved to the threat. And that really bothered the shit out of her. Like she still gets angry about that to this day. So my wife's thing is going to be when situations like that happen, she's the sounding board. Don't hold it in. Don't stay quiet. Talk about it. And she does the same thing. I don't expect my wife to heal. You know, I got accused of the person breaking the car at the therapy, and I flipped. I went off. I was so angry. I didn't even have therapy. She's not the one that's going to go, well, honey, I can relate. No, she's going to say, listen. She listens and says, get it off your chest. You have to get this out. I don't want you to suffer with it. And as whatever angers and emotions that I have, she's my listener. She sits and she listens. You know, she lets me, we call it venting. I'm just venting. So she lets me vent. My wife understands that more than anything is what her kids and myself need a lot of times. You know, we need to be able to vent to somebody that isn't going to judge us, isn't going to try to give us a pat answer, isn't going to, you know, she's not the person wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt unironically. You know, she understands that the experiences her kids, her husband, my kids, who are also, she calls them her kids, she understands we're all going to experience something she never will. So her thing is always going to be, she's our biggest advocate. She will use the fact that she's a white woman to get mad and because she was changed, but she's not trying to empathize. She's not trying to put herself in our shoes, in our shoes. She just wants to be there to try to help us heal. That's what my wife does. probably better than anybody, any white woman that I think I've ever met in my life. She understands empathy because she's still human, but she does not try to center herself or put her feelings first. It's about first and foremost is always about her kids. Now it's about her grandkids. She is their advocate. When they need somebody to listen, she listens. When they need somebody to talk, that's what she does. That's what my wife does. Like I said, probably better than anybody we've ever met.
Okay. So the question I have for Kimberly is, you said that you did not want to procreate white children. So having said that, I know your kids are grown. Do you try to steer them away from relationships with white people?
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
Right.
Like, don't date them.
I'm just and so let me put in a little perspective first of all. My youngest son, is married for 2 years to his high school sweetheart. She's a beautiful white woman, and I love her. But even in the very beginning part of their relationship, there had to be a conversation had, because I talk about white people. I talk about our mindset. I talk the truth. And I'm not going to back down from that because you're uncomfortable. I don't give a shit the title you hold in my family or in my circle. I am who I am. Your perception of me is not my responsibility, period. So you take me how you want to, or you don't take me at all. I'm cool. I'm not upset. I'm not mad. It is what it is. But we had to have a conversation because she was uncomfortable with the way that I spoke about white people. Now, with that being said, I don't dislike white people, okay? It doesn't make sense for me to do that. Then that means that half of my children I would dislike, and my mother and my father I would dislike, and I would dislike my own self. So there's no self-hatred going on here. I don't hate white folks, but I will not be quiet about the mindset that has been generationally passed down and the reality of what exists in this world to the people who cannot see it, because there are plenty of people who cannot, right? So, but with that being said, I encourage conversations for my children to be innately and deeply aware of the mindset. My daughter recently went through this, where this was a friendship now, and it was somebody that she worked with, white girl, her age, so 26 bracket, 27, maybe a little younger, but 25, 26, 27. And she had given her multiple, they had went out a few times, just, again, as group and friends and whatever. And she kept saying shit that was slick and shady, and it was racist. And I knew that it was. And I kept saying to her, I need you to be aware. I need you to be safe. I need you to be careful, because this girl smiling in your face, it's coming out. And my daughter just kept putting herself in these situations with this white girl who kept doing some slick shit. I think the last thing she did was, being funny, said she was gonna call the cops on my daughter's friend, which was a brother. Okay, so there's nothing cute or funny about that in the Black community at all. So saying it, I don't give a shit what the circumstances are. To me personally, it's not okay. Shut your ass up and don't say shit like that to people. It's not okay. It's a hate crime to speak that way in my space. So I couldn't understand why my daughter couldn't hear what I was saying. And I finally said to her, you keep thinking that the white folks that you fuck with are like your mama, but they're not like your mama. They're like your grandmama. Because there's an acceptance that a lot of white people have, a lot. And this is what my Black friends call good white people. They accept the fact of Black people. They accept interracial relationships. They accept miscegenated children. They accept the commercials that come out. They accept these things. But deep down in their heart of hearts, when the lights are off and the doors are closed and they are inside of their homes, Black folks are just another N-word to them.
And that is the reality of their mindset. It is not gonna go away because they were nice to you at work. That's not how it works. You have to address generational trauma and bullshit on a level as a white person, and you have to disengage with people that you have dealt with and mindsets that you have thought were the truth your whole entire life before you can even accept the reality that the black man standing next to you is in the same fucking fight as you are. Period. And that doesn't happen just because they now got black friends and they went to a black school and they grew up in a black community. You just can't, and I've been meaning to get to this, but you just can't go out, especially as a black man, and date a white woman and have babies with a white woman and expect that everything is going to be okay. That white woman will turn her back on you if she doesn't have the heart as close as she can get to one of a black woman. She will turn her back on you, your mama, your grandmama, and everybody black that baby needs to succeed in their own life that this white woman created. Period.
Standing
And
ovation.
so you're right. I tell my kids, I steer my kids away from white folks because my self-preservation and their self-preservation means more the fuck to me than what my perceived white privilege means to me. I can assure you of that. The only time I'm going to use my perceived white privilege is when I got shit that I got to take care of that I know a black person's not going to be able to handle. And you damn right I'm going to stand up and act a fool. Okay,
now y'all see why I like Miss Kimberly Michael, and y'all see why y'all see why she got me banned off of TikTok for a week. So,
I've been following you.
but you know,
following Kimberly for a while.
yeah, she. I mean, you know, I first time I went on her podcast, she had me hooked, but. You know, I'm gonna say this, and I've wanted to say it on a couple of shows, but I've been debating on whether I should say it or not. But I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I was in a space over the summer where I made I made the comment. Sometimes I hate white people, and I got ripped. Left and right. And Kimberly, the way you just said it is the way I was trying to explain it. And you just explained it. You know, for me because, you know, and yes, this is going to sound, oh, I can't believe Sally just said that. Yeah, I do have white friends. I know black folks get upset when we say, well, when white people say, well, I have white friends, whatever. You know, and one of my really good white friends, we have these conversations. I've known her for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And we have had these conversations, you know, we have gone into the weeds, we've gone back and forth, you know, but at the end of the day, we can laugh and we can move on, whatever. But Kimberly, what you just said is how I feel sometimes, because every white person is not going to get on that bus going down to Alabama with you. Everybody's not going to march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I mean, they just aren't, you know. And I have one child, and he's a boy, and I have told him I would prefer if you do not date white women, you know. And I have said that, and I don't mean to insult anyone, but again, you know, I have been burned by white people. I have seen when my son was just in grade school, before he was homeschooled, just saw the way these little white kids were treating him. But they're, we're just kidding. No, you're not. You know, you're not. You know, the fact that my son was called the N-word in 3rd grade, that hurt my heart, because I knew it was coming. I just didn't know it was going to come so soon. So and then when you go and you talk to the parents, everything, oh well, they're just kidding. No, they got that shit from you. So and I tell him, even now I'm like, just be careful. And I always say, if you're the only one and they all want to go to a party, whatever, even if you want to go, I really prefer you just stay home or don't go, because if something happens, if the cops are called, the first person they're gonna look at, even though you're innocent and didn't do anything, is gonna be you.
But you know what, Solid? I wanna expand on that. All right, so I'll say for 2 weeks now, 2 weeks on my platform, I've been arguing with white folks because I said bleach bats. I called them bleach bats. Right? Now, I've had to listen as these fake ass civil rights activists were all white, called me a racist. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. At the end of the day, when you have to tell black men to do research on the white woman you want to stick your shit in, that's a problem. And there is a historical reason behind it.
Exactly.
And my thing is, I am well aware of it. I've dated plus size. I've dated a cross spectrum. I expect somebody's brother-in-law or somebody's cousin not to like it. I remember sitting at a table at a fucking country town. I was invited to dinner. And I'm sitting there, and this damn fucking white guy's literally sitting in front of me. I'm like, we don't like this here. And I had to, being the person that I am, like, what is that? He's like, well, and he said, he called me, you don't like it. I'm like, good, I don't like me. Just like, because I'm going to take what you give me, and I'm going to roll that shit back. But I was aware of it before I got my ass in the car to make this right. Because I told the girl I was dating at the time, I will stand for that. I just want you to understand this. So, well, my family's not like this. Fuck, they not. I'm telling you they are. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to defend mine. Now, my mother used to be the sort of person that used to worry about it. But as I grew older, I learned how to navigate the world. I learned how to navigate around white people, because eventually, and I tell people all this, people all the time, black folks have a PhD in white people. And we come out the womb in our first semester of college knowing white people. We know when we come in the room, the perceptions come in the room, the stereotypes come in the room, and even though they might not say it verbally, they do say it with their eyes. That's why I cannot understand how white people can, all of a sudden, you motherfuckers are the experts, not all white people, but you're now the experts on what racism is. When you can change the definition of something, you can turn that into whatever you want to turn it into. So now people are going to try to tell me that the historical connotation of the N-word it's got to take a back seat because you called white people snow otters and snow roaches, and that's racist. You are out of your rabid ass mind. So what I do is I understand when I walk my ass out the door, somebody ain't gonna like me, and it's probably gonna be because I'm black. So I understand it. I am perfectly understandable. I don't put my rose-colored glasses in. We live in this society and everything. No, I don't. My shit's clear. So when I date, even when I was dating, I did that. I didn't so much do it with black women, and that was the only women I didn't do that. But I had to get a vibe with Asian. I had to get a vibe with a white woman. I had to get a vibe with a Samoan woman. I had to get a vibe with a Latino woman, because I understand anti-blackness is everywhere. So that's one of the reasons I got to know. I got to talk to you. I got to see, how does your family feel? Where do you stand politically? Where do you stand culturally? Where do you stand on these things? Before I sleep with you, I don't give a shit what you look like.
But Thomas, it's not just before you sleep with someone. I mean, it's just the fact that, I find myself, and I have white people that I, talk to and I do business with and things like that. But like you said, I got to do my due diligence first to make
Yes.
sure, whatever. And I think that that's something that, that black people more so than Latinos, more so than Asians, whatever, we always have to have that awareness up. Our antenna is always up. So when I steer my son, wanting to steer my son away from white people, it's just that, son, I just don't want you to be hurt. Not just on a mental level, but on a physical level. I need you to be aware. I need you to, unfortunately, we have to be aware, and
It's assimilation. It comes down to the idea of assimilation.
yes.
With every other group, I'm gonna leave black folks here in the corner. With every other group, assimilating to the white mindset, the white structure, is needed. If you're gonna get anywhere in America, you need to assimilate to this idea. Mind you, the idea itself is bullshit. It was invented right after Vegas was built. But they love it. They love it when an Asian guy, I talk really proper, my name is Win, and they love that shit. They love when Latino women are dating white women. They're like, bro, you're just my bro. Come on, we kick it, bro. Here, I'll smash a beer can up my head, on the side of my head, to get to. I want to show you I'm one of you. Now you bring black folks in. Assimilating for us is a totally different beast because you ain't changing our skin. You can't. I couldn't hide this shit. There's not enough paint. There's not enough fucking body products for me to change this. I can't do it. I cannot do it. So the way I'd have to assimilate is, black women are loud and obnoxious and they swear. That's why I date white women. We have to assimilate internally. And the problem with that assimilation internally is that shit can still get you hurt because you're going to meet somebody somewhere in some part of America that it don't matter what you sound like. It don't matter how many shit-kicking boots or rebel flags you have. Your ass is black. And you going to fuck around and get fucked up. So even with us even the ones that try to assimilate, the guys on TikTok, the black conservatives on TikTok, black people just need to pull up their pants and stuff and listen to that video. No matter what the fuck, somebody sees you as a N-word. I don't care how many conservative rallies you went to. Look at Herman Cain. That shit killed him. Mm-hmm. Tim Scott out here clowning and cooning and smiling. Mm-hmm. That's why we call them coons. That's what I mean when I say Coonesian. Those are the people that are trying to internally assimilate. If you walk around if you are a black person in America and you walk around conscious of the shit that this country gets up to when it comes to people that look like you, and you still try to kiss ass to them people, you deserve what the fuck you get. My thing is always going to be, I am a 6 foot tall, 253-pound black man. You ain't hiding none of them facts. I'm not going to be an inch shorter for you. I'm not going to be 50 pounds lighter for you. And I damn sure ain't going to be a couple of shades lighter so I can assimilate with your ass. The problem with it, and this comes back to that the conversation about interracial dating. There are some black men that are so desperate to get between the legs of a white woman that they will literally, self-esteem, fuck that. Self-preservation, fuck that. Self-survival, fuck that. I get to fuck a white woman. And what happens to them is that it gets good to them. So they start shedding off a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, until finally they run up on that one old white man who ain't never liked black folk, and the consequences end up being tragic. The reason I respect the hell out of Kimberly is she told her kids this. She's like, I got the blueprint. Don't fuck with them people. Do not fuck with them people at all. Don't fuck with them people. Leave them people the fuck alone. Because she gave her kids she gave her kids a PhD in white folk.
Thomas, I can listen to you all day. I swear to God, I listen to you while I'm driving to work. But we are at the hour and 20-minute mark. Kimberly, can you give us one final word?
Can I interrupt for a moment?
I'm sorry.
can I interrupt for a moment? I know we're at that mark, but I did want to ask both of you all just one thing. Do you think that, and y'all can edit, y'all can edit yourselves. Do you think that do you think that the United States, the way people like Clarence Thomas, Tim Scott, the Stevens from the Django, whatever, are we ever going to get to the point where they outlaw interracial marriage? Is that going to come back?
Yes.
They're trying to, yes.
Yes.
Kimberly?
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I don't know how I can edit it, but I don't give a fuck what they do. The right wing, left wing, it's all the same bird to me, and they can do whatever they want to do. But what Miss Kim is gonna do is whatever the hell she want to do, and if it's got anything to do with black or white rights when it comes to myself, my family, or every magically melanated creature that's affiliated with them, I'm gonna run my damn mouth. I'm gonna run the freaking streets, and I'm gonna do everything I can to shut that shit down. Period.
Okay. Oh, and then wait, one more thing. I had this written down. It was on the flip side. To Kimberly, this is a yes or no question. Kimberly or Thomas, in the time that you have been married or were married to your respective spouses, has your wife, Thomas, Kimberly, did your I'm going to say ex because you've already been on my show talking about your ex, whatever. Have either one of you guys, in the midst of a fight, Kimberly, have you ever called your ex-husband the N-word? And Thomas, has, in the middle of a fight, has your wife ever called you the N-word?
I'm going to let Kimberly go first with this one.
Never.
Okay.
Never, because I never used the word to begin with, so it's not a slip up for me.
Okay. All right.
I don't say. I say yeah, no.
Okay.
Hell, hell no. Hell, my wife hates. One of the evolutions of me is taking that out of my lexicon, and she's the reason. She hates. She doesn't even let her son use that word. She hates to hear it on the radio. Hell no. We've had fights. We've gotten in each other's faces. We've been angry at each other. And she's called me some things, but that is never one of them.
Okay.
Hell no.
All right.
Kimberly, please, I implore you. I need you to go to TikTok. I am the Dread Empath. Just put a 69 on the end of it. I need you to be one of my mutuals. Actually, anybody who uses the F word is excessively anxiety for somebody that I want to know. That's
I'm
why.
mad that Kimberly has never invited me on her damn podcast. I'm really upset about this. I am upset.
So I've been on hiatus in my defense.
Yes, she has. Yes, she has.
I'm upgrading my brand right now, and November 1st is my comeback. And when I come back, baby, woo! I assure you, you'll be on.
Thomas is mad because you've never invited him to his podcast, but I gave this bald-headed motherfucker my cell number, and he ain't never sent me a text. So
Wait, whoa! I get random phone calls, numbers and shit all the time.
But Thomas and I gotta have Dred's back on this one because I did send you some emails with her phone number.
I have to look in my spam folder.
So now it's spam. So now it's spam. Okay, so now it's spam.
Okay, it's because I'm like,
Okay, Marlon says no name calling because he is the moderator and he'll knock all of us off.
I want to thank
Lord,
both of our guests for being here on this Saturday. I want to thank everyone in the comments who watched. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, share the video. Bring us up there. We want to thank everybody for giving up their Saturday to be with us, especially our two guests, Kimberly Michael and Thomas the Villain Bishop. Okay? Please, I am personally a part of the Villains Guild. Okay? You might as well call me Lady Villain. I'm just Thomas the Villain with a vagina. That's it. That's it. But I'm a little bit nicer.
Shit.
But and Kimberly, she is in love with Kimberly Michael on YouTube and on TikTok,
Facebook
and
and Instagram, everything across the
Facebook,
board.
and Thomas is Thomas the Villain on TikTok, and you also have the Villain
I have the
Network.
Villain's View on
The
Sunday.
Vil-
I have Enemy of the State podcast on Spotify. Next week is good because we're going to be talking about. I'm doing a series called No Ally. The second half is relationships between black men and black women, undeclared civil war between black men and black women. I'm actually going to have Gigi. Yeah, Gigi is street smart. She is book smart and fucking gorgeous. I'm sorry. She's damn it. Like I'm gonna have to stop myself from drooling. I have to wipe my mouth off. But yeah, Enemy of the State podcast.
Here you go, Thomas.
Thank you. I'm gonna need it. Villain's View on Sunday on hot101.net. There you go.
Okay, so Dre, you want to take us out?
Yes, thank you all for being with us on this wonderful Saturday. To Thomas the Villain Bishop, Kimberly Michael, my sister from another mister, Solid Blue Sister, and everybody who tunes into the Friendly Differences Podcast 2.0. Until next time, peace in the streets, Wakanda forever.
Peace. All right.
Y'all.